In verse 22, Krishna mentioned that all pleasures that people seek through this sensory organs will lead to misery. They all have a beginning and an end. The wise people will stay away, will restrain, will not indulge as much in those pleasures. To them, they know for sure that those pleasures are just trivial pleasures. To them, they know very well that the true pleasure lies inside of them and not external. And so they know how to control their indriyas, how to control their senses. So now in the next verse, let's see what he's going to say about those people who are wise enough and having restrained their indriyas. What do? 23rd verse. Shaknoti haiva yah sodhum प्राक्शरीर विमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं sayuktah sasukhi narah. Those people are extremely happy. Those people are yogis who can control their desires and anger before this body falls down. So this shloka tells clearly that before this body falls down, he didn't say, if you look at this shloka, he didn't say that, hey people, before this body falls down, try to control your anger and desire. But he said, those people are happy, truly. And those people are true yogis who can control their anger and desires before this body falls down. Because there is generally advice will not be accepted. If someone says that do this, who are you to tell me? So that is why there is a generic statement that those people are yogis who can practice, who can restrain their desires. Now kama krododbhavam. Kama is desires. Krodha is anger. A yuktaha, a yogi, is one who can control these two. Desires can be anything, and it starts with our sensual pleasures. I mean, you get elementary level, it starts with food and what we wanted to see and what we wanted to smell, hear, those things. And what is the difference between an animal and a human? Many animals have legs, we also have legs. Few animals have hands also, and we also have hands. If some animals do not have hands and they have means to do their job, and many animals have eyes, nose, mouth to eat, and a system to digest the food and to excrete the wastage from the body. Many animals have it, and humans also have it. What is the difference? Even many animals have the mind. You cannot say that they don't have a mind. They do have mind, because that is how a spider builds its web nicely. Right? And we see many intelligent animals. They have brain also, it's not just mind. What then is the difference between humans and animals? That is why in this shloka there is an answer. Kama krododbhavam. Those who can control the desire and anger are yogis. Animals, as much as they try to control their desires and anger, it is in their nature. That is how they were, and that is how they will be. There is no change in their behavior. We have not seen drastically they gradually improving and their lifestyle, and then they are becoming cultured. We haven't heard any such thing. Animals are animals, and that is the reason that they have been caged by humans, right? So that we protect ourselves from their behavior. Their behavior, they do not know, they do not have the control in their own anger, in their own desires. And desire and anger are like twins. They are born together. Wherever there is desire, anger will be there. Wherever there is anger, desire will be there. That's why he had mentioned these two things. And people who have conquered anger, they would have definitely conquered desire also. People who have conquered desire, they would have naturally conquered anger also. And these two things of desire and anger, it's impossible for animals to conquer. But for humans, we have one thing which distinguishes us from animals, which is the power of discrimination. The brain, even though we all animals have the power and we also have the brain power, there is one aspect of brain called discrimination. Discrimination is right from wrong. What is right and what is wrong based on logical reasoning, analytical skills. We can analyze, oh, this is why this happens and that is why this is bad. Because of this, that happens. If that happens, then these things will happen. And so that is why this is good. Something like that, we can do it for everything in this world and reason out. The reasoning ability. Animals lack that. Not 100%, maybe they have, the degree varies, but we are supreme in that. And Krishna wanted us to make use of that discrimination power that is given to us to stay away from desire and anger before this body falls down to the ground, because that's going to happen, 100% sure. And in the next birth, we don't know whether there is going to be a human birth or it is going to be anything other than human birth. We do not know. So again, that existence is going to have the discrimination power or not, we do not know. That is why we should use that power more now in restraining ourselves. It is not a blind religion that he is trying to spread, saying that go, do not eat anything, do not see anything, do not watch anything, do not hear anything. All those things are bad. If you are enjoying, then that is not good. He didn't say such things. Many people will think that following a spiritual path is so hard, a religious path is so difficult because you have to be God fearing. That means that you cannot, uh, you know, do these things. That is not what he means here. That is not at all is being meant. Any religion or spirituality that is practiced out of fear is useless. It's totally useless. If we wanted to just make ourselves happy that, oh, I'm God fearing, I obey all the rules, that is not going to help us in the path of spirituality. In this path, He says, use your analytical skills, wisdom, intelligence. This is a yoga that is practiced using the intelligence, the buddhi that is given to us. This yoga is more practical. Karma yoga is the most practical. Unlike jnana yoga, where you just have to meditate for hours together, which not many people will be able to do. But using the brain, anyone can do, because we are given with that power. That is why he is saying discriminate things. It is not that hard if you look at it. We know this very well. When he says the pleasures that you are seeking is going to end up in misery, for example, and that is why you should stay away from it, he says, right? We can ask how. We know that for sure that this we experience practically in our life. What happens when you eat a food that is heavy in terms of starch, like for example potato or any such thing? Naturally it leads to acidity. You start experiencing stomach ache or whatnot, right? Uncomfortable. And then what happens when you eat sugars, sweets beyond certain age? That leads to diabetes, and that leads to many complications, including the kidneys dysfunctioning, or affecting the eyes, vision, or in fact affecting your heart and all those things. Why? Because of the desire, craving that we had, right? And few, it's not just eating alone. The desires that we have, we alone know. It varies from people to people, and you have your own group of desires. That is what is making us to do some actions. Any actions that we do, it is propelled by a desire. Maybe we are not aware of it. We just carry on with our job, carry on with our life without introspecting. What is the desire that is driving me? That is what we should be aware of. Just stop for a moment and then ask ourselves, which fear is driving me? Is that a reasonable fear? Like for example, I want to help that person and see some smile on his or her face. That is a good desire. That is not going to end up, that we can have more and more. And I can have a desire that I wanted to stay away from all desires. Those things are improving, but we don't seem to be having any such desires. Anything that we wish for the welfare of others in any way, either improving their life by donating something or giving away something or giving our time, sit with some older people and then listen to them talk, or volunteering, providing ourselves. Those are all good desires. No one is going to question that. And once we get habituated to that more and more and more and more, that is not going to that is going to have impact, positive impact within ourselves. That's going to reinforce that I'm becoming more and more a useful person in this society, in this world, right? That will reinforce, that thought will reinforce. Unlike going behind pampering this belly or pampering this tongue or eyes or nose or ears, that will lead to ruin, and we know that for sure, right? And I'm interested to listen to some melodious music by MS Subbulakshmi Amma in YouTube. No one is going to question that, because that is a form of bhakti yoga we are practicing. We want to just stay in the divinity, in the divine music. Or I'm going to just dance, do some divine dance for the divine music that is being played. In fact, that is encouraged. In our religion, music and dance are indispensable. In fact, that is enforced, that is needed, absolutely essential. Music and dance should be part of one's life. That is what will give life to our spirit, our existence. And that is why the names of Vishnu is very important. Uttering the names through either music or through shlokas or through within your mind, just one name, that is also just enough. That is music. A dance can be a simple movement of our body, a divine movement of the body, as long as we enjoy it. It's not necessary that we should do it, but as long as we feel like dancing to the tunes of flute being played, that is perfectly okay. And the thought that we hold in our mind is very important. And this body is just making its movements aligning with that music, which is about Krishna or about Rama or about Mahalakshmi or any such thing. That thought is the most important thing. Right? Those are valid, valuable desires. Right? So that is what it is being meant here. That before this body falls down, which means before that person dies, that person should conquer. That means be victorious over desire and anger. Then those people are wise and they are real yogis. So to conquer the desire and anger is not an easy thing, and it cannot happen one day. Boom. On 16th January 2024, this person has successfully conquered anger and desire. It will not happen in one day. It is an incremental step. It has to start from today, and we inch by inch move towards that. Then it will happen that day, right? So every one of us should create that kind of a laundry list of what are the things that upset me. Anger, for example. You can start with desire or we can start with anger. Both are equally valid. Whichever we are able to conquer, we would have conquered the other also. So for example, anger. What are the things that upset me? What are the things that make me really mad at people, at myself? For no reason at all, you might get mad. And whenever that happens during the day, we take a moment and then just stop for a moment, take a pause and say that, oh, this is upsetting me. Let me make a note of it. We should maintain a diary and then make a note of it. So this one, on this day, this thing upset me. My kid was not listening to me and that really made me mad. Or my wife was not listening to me or husband not listening to me, whichever may be the case, that I'm not happy about, and that really spiked my anger. The first thing in conquering anger and desire is to be aware of what are the things that we are mad about. The moment we are aware of it, we are going one step above. The next time, the first time, you are aware of it after it had happened. Second time also you are aware of it after it had happened. Third time, fourth time, the more you are aware of it, the more you tell yourself that, oh, I'm getting upset about this, I'm getting mad about it, I'm getting restless about it, I'm losing my peace on this. Aware of it, know about it. Oh, instead of blindly being mad and staying mad, that is okay. Some things might upset us, that is okay. We'll be in the thickness of state where we are still mad and angry, but just to turn the attention inward and say that, oh, right now I'm mad and I decided not to get mad, but now I'm in that state of madness. That is just enough. You don't automatically, that madness slows down. Automatically the anger starts leaving us. You can observe it. The moment you tell our mind that I have decided to let go of this anger from me, but here I am going through the same kind of madness that I don't want to get into. The moment you utter those words, it will slow down and you get the best benefit. There is no blood pressure, there is no um, any such complications related to anger. And the more we are aware of it, the lesser we get angry about anything. And the lesser we are mad at people or mad at things around us, the lesser we will be craving for things around us also. It works mutually. So we should start putting into practice on an everyday basis, maintaining a diary and identify, that is knowing about ourselves. Knowing about ourselves is know about our events or incidents that happen in our life that upset us. That is knowing about ourselves, right? So the more we engage in that, the more we can get to the state. So because we need to start the journey towards that point, what he is saying here, that person is the really happiest person who is victorious over anger and desire. That person cannot do it in one day, but it is a journey. You will have to start doing it on an everyday basis. It's not going to be easy, it's going to be tough, you're going to get more and more mad. That is all perfectly okay, but we should start doing some work, because from now on until the day this body falls down, if we wanted to let go of this desire and anger, there should be some work that needs to be done by this person. What type of work we are going to do to get rid of anger and desire? Is there anything gym where we can just do some 100 push-ups, 200 pull-ups, where the anger and desire will go away? That also might help. Doing some workouts will definitely bring down our energy levels, and then that will smoothen out our behavior. But that is not going to take away from the root of our existence. Maybe it will temporarily reduce. So what is that we can do? By using our intelligence, by using our discrimination power to analyze the situation as it happens, as it happened, and refine ourselves. There are people who are mad at others because of an incident that happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I still hate that person because this person really made me bad 25 years ago. So our anger is so much deep rooted, right? How are we going to pull ourselves out of that? Only by practice, right? So that practice should start. That is the meaning of this verse. That's what we get from this verse. 24th verse. Yontah sukhontararamah tatantarjyotireva yah sa yogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutodhigacchati. That person, that yogi, that person will achieve Brahma Nirvanam, and also be one with that Brahman. When when that person stays away from anger and desire, but turns and goes within themselves. Yontah sukha antah sukha. That person becomes happy within themselves. Because everyone needs to be happy. If you say that do not have desire, then how else that person will stay happy, right? Happiness can be from two sources. One is external, by enjoying all the objects and the pleasures that this world has to give to us, and the other source of happiness is right within oneself. The difference is this: the external sources of happiness are many, variety, a lot of them, each of our senses, millions of ways to enjoy happiness from external world, but they all will be for few seconds or few minutes or few hours or few days. That is a limitation. Whereas the happiness within and another whereas the happiness within lasts forever, not only in this birth and even beyond birth, and that happiness no one has experienced it, and that is where Krishna is leading us towards. And that you can walk through only when you start cutting the ties from the external happiness. You might have seen movies in olden days, or even we have a lot of Puranas and Itihasas where a person will be given a boon. Do you want 1000 children who all of them are not so intelligent, they are all dull and idiots, and they will live for 100 years? Or do you want only one child that is super intelligent but will live only for 16 years? We had seen that, right? God, I mean, whoever who is giving the boon will give two options. Either you choose 1000 children, you will be blessed with 1000 children, and I will give you enough money so that you can feed them. But all of them will be idiots, and they will live for 100 years. No worries about their health or lifespan. Do you want that, or do you want just one child? But if you choose that one child, he or she will live only 16 years. 16th year they will be dead. You cannot do anything, but that person will be super intelligent. Which one will we choose? The same thing is true here also. Do we want an happiness that is hard to get, that is you'll have to strive hard and that stays forever, an inner happiness, an inner peace? Or do we wanted millions, 1000 happy experiences? They last for few seconds or few minutes, and they are all will lead to misery also at the end of the day. Unintelligent 1000 children. So that is precisely this kind of choice is always given to us in life, to make sure that we understand that we are given a choice, is why we have so many Puranas and Itihasas where they have this kind of, the one of the characters will get such kind of boon. right? Just to make us understand that we also have such choices in life. It's just that we are not aware of it. It's just that we are not recognizing that we had that choice, not in terms of children, but in terms of what we do in life. We go behind this or that. That is a discrimination, right? That's the power of discrimination. From wrong, from right to wrong, right? Choose this, you will have to go through a different path. Choose the other option, you will have to go through an entirely different path. This has its own plus and minus, that has its own plus and minus. Which one we wanted to go? Every step of life, that is how life is giving us this opportunity. Every step. Now after this 1 hour session is over, what you have to do, let's say, at home, it depends on you. You have an option. You can do this, you can do that, or you can do this. A, B, C. If you go with doing A, then you will end up with a different outcome. At the end of the day, how you feel depends on which option you choose. Did you choose A? Then that is a different ending to the day. You choose C, that will be a different ending to the day. How your day was. Isn't it? There is nothing spirituality about it, nothing religious about it. Krishna is making it practical if you look at it. It is all our option. The desires and anger is all an option to you. When he says that you can get rid of them before this body falls down, that itself clearly says that we have an option. We are holding on to it and we are saying that we do not have peace, we do not have happiness. So that is every step. Actions are determined by us. What action should I do now? But we end up doing those actions that we think are attractive to us. And we are driven by the external pleasures when deciding such actions. And that is why he's saying that finally it will lead to misery. If you follow the path of desires and then choose your choices, then you end up in misery. Instead, antararamaha is using yontah sukha. Antah sukha. These people enjoy happiness within themselves and they are at peace. Antararamaha. They are totally at peace within themselves inside. And also being lit by their inner light. Antar jyotihi. They are enlightened by their inner light, inner divinity. And they stay with that. That is how they derive their pleasures. Because as an existence, if you lose in one place, you will have to gain in another place. That is the equation, right? It cannot go wrong. That is the fundamental rule. There is nothing like I lost it. In life, there is nothing like I lost it. It became bad. Because once we say we lost it, we are going to gain either the same thing or in a different way. We might have lost A, but we might have got B. But we will hardly acknowledge that we got B. Because of we losing A, whatever that can be, A can be anything. It can be property, it can be people, or it can be valuables, jewelry. Because of we lost that, we would have gained a thing. That is how it works. Life works that way. I didn't say anything new. I didn't invent anything new. And we are experiencing that practically, right? It is all balanced. There can never be like it's gone forever. Or it's became bad forever. If something is bad, good is also there equally. Good might have happened elsewhere. It's just that we do not know. We see only bad because we have been trained by our mind to see only the wrong and bad things and the losses. Instead, we should start looking at the wins. Then we will start feeling appreciating the value of life. Okay, here I see a loss and here I see a win also. That is how we can gain that equanimity, equality of looking at things, the balanced perception. We look at the negatives in the life more, then life will be not that interesting. And obviously, because we have trained ourselves to be more scared of those negative things that happen. We have trained ourselves to look out for wrong things that can happen to us, because that's how we have been appreciating only the negatives and the wrong things. But instead, we start paying attention to what we already have. Who's going to account for it? What we already have. Oh, this I have, that I have, that I have, that I have, and this I got, that I got, that I got. So many things had happened in my life. Maybe these losses are for those gains. That's how it balances. It's like an accounting balance sheet, right? End of the day, he will make sure that your losses are, your liabilities are matched with your assets, right? It can never go out of balance. Maybe we do not know what our assets are. It is time for us to getting to know about what are the things that I possess. And for that reason, what has a bad thing has not happened to us in itself is a good thing. How many of us have recognized that, right? Many people right now, as we speak, are going through trouble in their lives, financial trouble, let's say, for example. And most of us do not have that. So a bad thing not happening is also a blessing. It's not that we should hit a jackpot of $50 million to be happy. A bad thing not happening is also a luck, sheer stroke of luck that I've been spared from that unfortunate group of people. Like, have we ever acknowledged that most people will just take their set of problems to the temple and they will cry in front of God, saying that you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't give me this, if you had given me that, if you had given me a nice this, if you had given me a nice that, I would have become a happy person. The complaints we all do, but how many of us will just take our good things that had happened in our life and go in front of God, stand and list down all those things and acknowledge, look at the smile and say that, wow, you have made my life, even though I ran through this turmoil in my life, I have so many good things happened in my life. A, B, C, D. Let's list down. Then we will start feeling peace within ourselves. Oh, now I feel happy. That is the true happiness that we have just acknowledged. And the moment we start practicing that habit, then we will start seeing good things in others also. Because the moment I see good things in me, I'll start looking at good things in others' life. Then I'll stop nitpicking on others. Why is that like this? Why they are talking to me like this? Why can't they do this? Why can't they do that? Why can't they stop doing it? The complaints will slow down. The moment the complaints slow down, the anger will reduce, because we have come to an harmony with ourselves, right? Because we have acknowledged what we have wholeheartedly. And so we will not go against what is happening around us. Instead, we know that if something is happening, something good also is going to happen, or already had happened, just that I'm not aware of it. That Newton's law is true in our existence also. Every bad thing has a good, equal and opposite good thing happening elsewhere. So, but we should train ourselves to look at the good things also in our life. That is when we can counter the bad things. Looking only at the bad things will lead us to despair and depression. Right? So that is why antararamaha, inner peace, that person enjoys inner peace who snaps his ties with external senses of enjoyment, but he turns their mind inward and stays within themselves to enjoy their true happiness. And those people attain Brahma Nirvanam, that is the absolute bliss or the realization. Right? And they become one with God. Brahma Bhuto Dhikachati. Brahma Bhuto Dhikachati is just become one with God. Until then, we have not attained that state of becoming one with God. And there is no difference at that time. God gives us an equal power and gives an equal status of whatever He is. He makes us, He raises us to that level so that become one. The unification is called yoga. That unification is the true meaning of yoga. And that unification is what we should ultimately strive for. The one with God, right? That is the unification we are strive. Not, it doesn't happen after death. So most people, when they say that I'm going to be one with God, does it mean that we'll have to die and become one with God? Now, next verse is going to answer that question. When will that happen? Right in this birth and hereafter. Once it had happened, and from now on, hereafter, we are one with God. Right in this birth, when we are alive. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैधा यतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः. How will those people be when they attain the Brahma Nirvanam? That's the question. So when a person attains Brahma Nirvanam, which is the state of equanimity, which is the state where the desire and anger have vanished, and the person starts enjoying the inner bliss absolutely. That person is with absolute peace. Nothing that happens externally in this world with people or with anything can ever disturb the mind. If something good happens, that's not going to excite this mind. If something wrong happens, that's not going to disturb this mind. Neither good nor bad will ever destabilize that mind. And that person enjoys that person's inner peace and one with God. And then what happens? That person should just pass away because he's becoming one with God? No. So in this verse, they say that that person, even though he is just bliss, enjoying the bliss within themselves, sarva bhuta hite rataha, they will just be happy serving this humanity. They will do work for the welfare of the humanity. Sarva bhuta, all human beings. Hite, hitam is for the welfare. So that person doesn't just enjoys himself like I'm happy and you guys are yet to reach that state. No, that person will work. He or she will strain every nerve to make sure that all people are happy. and whatever that is needed for those people, this person will do. So that is why it works reverse also. We don't have to reach that state and then start working for others. We can start right now, because by start to live for others, slowly we are moving towards that state, right? So when do we start to care for others? Only when we attain the Brahma Nirvanam? No, not necessarily. That person, we can make it as a habit from now on. And slowly it reaches that, then it becomes like a smooth transition. That is why in spirituality, even the effect can also be the cause. That means it's not that attaining Brahma Nirvanam causes the person to be work for the welfare of others, but working for the welfare of others will also lead to Brahma Nirvanam. The reverse also is possible. That is why because everything helps us to refine our mind. If a person wanted to be a weightlifter, I'm just giving an example, or he wanted to become good at karate, let's say, you would have seen boys putting up some posters of Bruce Lee and others in their room and then practicing the martial arts. Why do they do that? And they visualize as if they have become that hero already in their minds and then practicing it, right? The exact same rule applies here also. We wanted to attain the Brahma Nirvanam. We start living our life from now on how they will live their life. They will start thinking about others, welfare of others. They will start working for the welfare of others. Nothing else will be there. That we start practicing now. We cannot become like them yet, because our mind is still entangled with desires and anger, and slowly we'll have to remove that. That is when we can become them. So but still, in the window that we have in between, we can at least practice of living for others. For example, if we are a person who has never done any work at home, let's say, we can do some simple household work that can be helpful for people at home. That is how it can start, right? The leave alone people who are living in the society, people who are right there at home, we can be helpful to them, and then slowly we can expand to the neighbors, and to the society and to the city and so on, right? Volunteering without help, expecting anything. We wanted to cleanse ourselves, and these are the ways with which we can actually do, and these things will indirectly affect our desires and angers, will slowly bring down our desires and anger, because the moment we start doing for others, I'm not interested. If you had seen chefs, right, who are expert cooks, the recipes, if you ask them that what is your favorite food, they will say that simple curd rice, or that is just enough for me. You are preparing so beautiful recipes, and how come you are not interested in any of those things? They will lose interest because they are preparing for others. The more they prepare for others, they will just lose all the desire towards food. That principle applies right here. That's true even with most moms, right? Mothers prepare, and most of the time they prepare and give it to their children and husband, and they themselves, they will say, I'm okay as long as you guys eat it, I'm happy. That is a mother's heart, right? That mother's heart is what is needed. And that person who has reached the Brahma Nirvanam will ideally have that mother's heart within themselves, where think only about others, good welfare, and then do them as much good as you can. That's how they will live their life. 26th. Today I want to finish the 5th chapter, so let's go a little bit faster. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yata chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. So again, kama krodha viyukthanam. He doesn't want to leave that kama and krodha. Kama is desire, krodha is anger. Krishna doesn't want to go away from that. The reason that it is repeated again and again, and I am also repeating again and again, is not because that he doesn't have anything else to say, or rather I don't have anything else to say. That is the fundamental, the root of all evils. It lies there. Once that is addressed, because that is in our hands, right? That is what we can do. If you, that is why he is stressing on that. Pay attention to your desires, pay attention to your anger. And people, here in this verse, he says that those people who have detached themselves successfully from desires and anger, those people are yogis, and they are having and they have subdued their mind. They have made their mind to be not having any effect on those anger or desire situations. Right? No matter whatever you show, jewelry, gold jewelry, exquisite jewelry, their mind is not attaching to it. They do not see any interest in those things. Or sweets, recipes, delicious recipes, marriage recipe, 50 items, banana leaf, on a banana leaf, but still they are not attached. They just are okay with the porridge, or what do you call that? Ragi mudda, right? That is just fine. They are not deluded. It's not that they will run away from it. They will have it, but not like us, who will go without worrying about who is sitting next. We will just go finish all items on the banana leaf. As if someone looks at the banana leaf, they will wonder, has it been served at all or not? Wiped out completely. They would not go that and asking for more, one or two more. They also won't leave anything leftovers, but it's like, that item is really delicious. Get me one more serving. Additional, right? So that kind of desire has already gone from them. And these people, once they attain the Brahma Nirvanam, they have attained it forever. Vartate. Vartate is, it has happened in this birth for those people. And from now on, they have it. That Brahma Nirvanam exists for them. Right? So, it is quite possible in this birth itself to achieve that state of inner peace by practicing, by focusing on the desires and the anger. That is what is all along tying us down all these days, not able to make any progress. That is the truth. If we are experiencing repetitions in life, not able to see anything different, what is happening here? Life is all about this. I'm going round and round and round and round without escape. What is this? If you ask yourself that question, desire and anger. Anger also includes, there are the children of anger, frustration. It's a child of anger. So all forms, parent is anger. Okay, so that is what he says in this verse. And then in the next verse, Sparshan kritva bahirbahyan chakshushchaivantare bhruvoh pranapanau samau kritva nasabhyantara चारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनो बुद्धिः मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधो यः सदा मुक्त एव सः. That person is free. That person is free. Now you can ask, we are also free. We are not free. We think we are free, but we are trapped within this body. Because that Atman is us, right? And we are trapped within this body, and we are not able to differentiate that trapped us versus this body. We think that this body is us. This body identifies me, and we start loading ourselves up with this, whatever this body asks for, right? That's why we cannot differentiate. But those people, while they are having inside this body, they have freed themselves out, in the sense like they can distinguish between this body and their own existence. That is why they are not able to, they won't yield to the demands of this body. And how can we achieve that? Krishna says that not achieve. How will they, what do those people do? Having been separated, sparshan kritva bahirbhahyanj, externally driven pleasures are removed, and they have started focusing their eyes in between their two eyebrows. They started focusing their eyes on this region between the two eyebrows to gain focus and attention. And then prana panau samau kritva, they are able to balance the breathing of inhaling and exhaling. See, most people, if you close one nostril and breathe in, and then close the other one and breathe in, at least one of them will be blocking. If that happens, if none of them should be blocking, ideally both should be free. That is one. And even if both are free, the inhalation and exhalation is not balanced, in the sense like we are not even aware of our breath, right? We just breathe, and then all of a sudden when you're asked to focus on the breathing, then you'll be like, oh yeah, now it is organized or smooth. But until we focus, the breathing is not organized. If you see a person who is aggressive, angry, naturally their breathing will be like, it will be aggressive too, right? So, and if you see a person who is relaxed, let's say observe just a person who is sleeping, their breathing will be more uniform. Have you observed it? The inhale and exhale will be more uniform. So a relaxed person and an agitated person, the difference is breathing, fundamental breath. So those people who are achieving Brahma Nirvanam are people who have attained balance in their inhale and exhale. And how can we do that? Through pranayama, through breathing exercises. So we don't have to get there and then do the pranayama. We'll have to do now. All things are for us to start doing that from now on, right? Whatever pranayama methods that we know, simple exercises, we should start doing. And by doing pranayama, that can bring down the anxiety level, the anger level, the desires, right? Everything can be checked, brought under the control, right? Once we start practicing it. And initially you may do it for a few minutes, but slowly it can graduate up into minutes. Minutes can become hours, right? Then we are truly getting there. If someone can sit for half an hour and do pranayama exercises, then they are making big progress in their own existence, in their own. And these are all simple things that we can practice on an everyday basis to take control of our own anger and desire, step by step, right? First, breathing is in my control. Nobody is doing anything in this world to control my breathing. I own my breath. So I can control my breath, I can regulate my breath, and by taking charge of my breath, believe it or not, we are taking charge of our life. All right. So because once the breath is under control, our emotions, our desires are under our control. Our anger is under our control. Once anger and desires are in our control, then we are making progress towards the state that he is mentioning here. Okay. The last verse, 29th verse says this. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudam sarva bhutanam jnatva mam shantim richati. Bhoktaram, the person who enjoys. Yajna tapasam, whatever that is being offered in yajnas and homas and everything, and whatever that is being enjoyed is all that Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, is all that Supreme Lord. And these people, having known that everything that is happening, every enjoyment is enjoyment of Him, not by me. And that person, the Supreme Lord, is a do-gooder. Suhridam. That person, Supreme Lord Krishna or Narayana or Vishnu or whatever name that you give, that person is a do-gooder of all this entire humanity. There is no partiality for that person. He does only good. And those people who have attained that Brahma Nirvanam, they will go and then they will eat very well in any marriage or wedding or any other functions. Delicious food. They will ask for even one serving, additional. They will eat. But they will not have any attachment when they are eating. I am eating it. It is so yummy. That kind of thought will not come. It is all that person who is enjoying. I am not even enjoying. So that is the, and he, Krishna here puts Mam Shantim Richati. He puts his hand on his chest and he speaks to Arjuna. He says that all those people who have attained the Brahma Nirvanam know clearly that I am the one who is enjoying and it is not them. With that knowledge, they always stay happy and peaceful. That's how we finish the 5th verse. Next week, if possible, we'll start with 6th verse. I'll update you on the next week status. Until then, have a good time. Start practicing what we are learning. Very important. Put to practice what we learn. That is when it stays with us. If you listen and let it go, then it just evaporates. But if you listen, apply it in life, then that stays with us. That knowledge never leaves us. श्रियः कान्ताय कल्याणनिधये निधयेत्थिनां श्रीवेङ्कटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मङ्गलम्. सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.